In this episode, I'm talking to drummer-composer Karina Colis. We both taught at the same school in India, Swarnabhumi Academy of Music, at different times, and started working on a track for the upcoming Filtron M album last year. In this conversation, we talked about India and her life and work in New York, as well as her home country, Mexico. Let's talk a little bit about India and Swarnabhumi. How long were you in India altogether?
I went there like 6 times. And then the last time I stayed over a year and 3 months. I just love it because, first of all, it's a very different country. You know, you've been there, so it's just different. It just keeps you entertained all the time because you see so many things, right? And the culture and the people. They're actually, the sense of humor from Indian people is very, very similar to Mexican sense of humor. So in that sense, I feel really connected. I love the food, I love the music, everything. So when I was teaching there, I was going to the Indian classes, but not all of them because many of them were happening at the same time I was teaching, right? So I could just go to a few of them. But the material is not easy. You have to really be dedicated to it. So what I did is I just absorbed as much as I could. In terms of rhythm, I end up doing my own systems so I could apply them in a polyrhythm way by numbers. Then I found that it's a much easier way to learn polyrhythms than trying to write everything with the dotted quarter note plus something like that. So
you didn't cut the syllables, you're saying. You actually used numbers, which was different from the Carnatic system.
Yeah, I mean, the syllables are the same. You know, like when you say taka, right? It's 2 beats. It can be quarter notes or 8 notes, and then they say taquita. Taquita is for 3, right. Tacadi for 4, and you know all those things. I learned some songs, some traditional songs, just to understand how they work, which is very different from any other music that I have ever practiced or learned. Well, I got like 2 friends from India telling me that they can mix my album because they are really into get into the production thing. It can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. The fact that live music is not happening much in general, it opens more possibilities of people working more in terms of producing, know all these tools about videos, but at the same time, there is not much interest in playing live because now everyone wants to be a YouTuber, right? Now everyone wants to be online all the time. So of course, we don't have the same energy. When we were younger, right? We were like 20 years old, carrying our stuff everywhere, and then coming back at 3 a.m.
You played with the Colombian composer and singer, Gregorio Uribe?
Yes.
And I'm sure there is like a lot of cross-learning because of your Indian experience, because of that experience with Colombian rhythms.
I went through periods of feeling confused. I'm not happy if I just end up playing Latin jazz and that's it. Or if I ended up playing Colombian fusion and that's it. That will make me feel frustrated. I was like, no, there has to be a way where I can, snipping the jazz in. And that happened only last year. But of course, playing, like for example, with Gregorio Uribe, it was a big learning. I learned from Berkeley since he started the project. He started doing traditional songs from Colombia, from different regions. And the actual rhythms, very folkloric way. It was not modern or anything. Listen to the original song and play it. So I went through that process with him. And then later on, he decided to make it a big band and be more like a fusion ensemble. I went through all those things. So for me, it was like Gregorio Uribe's school of Colombian music, no? And the groups are amazing. It gave me a lot of understanding on the maturity of playing a big band, which is a big responsibility. Also, Coco Mama has been a very important group. They were first a timba band. It was like a salsa timba for many years. And then when they decided to take it more seriously, they decided to make it more like a pop, Latin pop, more versatile, like more, more groovy. That's when they decided to invite a drummer. And then Jennifer called me. I learned also a lot too because all of them are really strong and Latin. When I was in Boston, I was playing more Latin jazz. Then I moved to New York, I stopped completely. And then when I started playing with them, I started again. They wanted to do more like pop. Then I had to be more groovy, right? It also pushed me in that way. I had to be groovy playing Latin. There's a different concept. So then last year I was doing a lot of women in jazz, finally doing a lot of jazz. Like I will say that the first year in my life, I was living from playing jazz gigs.
You just recorded an album?
Yes.
That's your first album?
It's going to be my first album. Maybe 6 songs, maybe 7. Haven't decided yet. It was in a difficult situation, because I came back from New York. So I was kind of doing a small fundraising to be able to play the studio time. The good thing is that here is much cheaper than New York, but I still wanted to pay the musicians, and the engineer. I'm going to start editing this week, and I didn't know how to edit in Pro Tools. I just had like a class with my sister's husband. He helped me. So I'm going to do it myself because I can't afford right now to. Editing and mixing is a very delicate thing because you have to be there while someone is editing, right? Make all the notes. Is the trios on instrumentals? Because I thought it was important to post original material only for now. If I have some arrangements of Latin American music, but just those are nice arrangements, I think, and I'm singing, but I don't think it would be smart to put an album with arrangements of me singing. I think I will do later maybe singles or something like that. So I want to do originals because I want people to also know me as a composer, especially small rhythm section, no?
I still want to talk a little bit more about Mexico. You're back home and then you feel good about being there and you're not thinking of coming back to New York.
I realized that my personal life was kind of sad because I was spending too much time alone. That was not healthy for my emotional state. Things happen for a reason, right? Like my family, my mom is getting older. My sister had her baby. And I met my boyfriend here in Mexico February, right before the COVID happened. Everything happened really fast. And I think it was destiny because it just didn't make sense for me to stay in New York with no work. I was really, really looking forward to work on the attic sessions because the room, as you know, has really nice acoustics. I want to do that here now. I actually, with the other phone, I'm recording a little bit more so you can see a little bit more with my saris from India. I wanted to bring some influence from India. Like I wanted to feel like, I have this influence from India and then influence from South America or wherever. Make it like this, no? I didn't grow up playing jazz or playing Latin or playing, I have been just gathering information from all these places. I don't really feel that I could set up my room in a Latin American style. I just like a mixture of everything. I just can't stand having a room which is like super formal with, like, it's not me. So, yeah, that's why I put it like this. I am in San Luis Potosí, which is pretty much in the center, but a little bit more north from Mexico City. Up north, 5 hours, 6 by car. I don't know in kilometers because I don't drive. I am a drummer, but I don't drive. That I miss about New York, no? Like many places have drums. Here in Mexico, it's not the same. You have to bring your drums, but in my city distance, everything is really close. In that way, it's very practical. But, this city is not good for gigs at all.
How is it in Mexico City then?
I think some places have drums. In Mexico City, of course, there's a big scene there, amazing musicians. Jazz clubs have drums. So they are more actualized, of course. But still, you have to bring drums to some of them. But my boyfriend is from Mexico City, so the good thing is like his family is there. So if I book some gigs in Mexico City, we can stay there, which I didn't have that option before. I was like, no, talking to the owner of the band. He didn't want to pay the hotel, no? So I was like, I'm not going to go because it's not enough. And then I had to pay my own hotel. And in that way, it's going to be good too because then I can, I can stay with my boyfriend's parents. And then I can just, gig in a few jazz places. But because of what is happening, I haven't not even tried, Yeah. But at some point, yes, I want to do that. But yeah, this city is very relaxed. It's not a city to go out and meet musicians, forget it. I just love the peace here, like how relaxed it feels.